Hi there, I'm HoboRec. Thanks for having me back at the Produce Like a Pro channel. Today we're going to talk about the new piece of gear I just got. It's the Audioscape mid-range Equalizer MEQ-A, and how you can use it to bring some serious presence to your distorted guitars. The mid-range equalizer from Audioscape is modeled after the classic piece from Pultec. Those come in like 3 different versions. You have the filter version that is low pass and high pass. You have the mid EQ, and you have the most classic one, the EQ-P1, I think it's called. Probably seen the Pultec EQs around a lot, pictures from old studios, and obviously in plugin versions, there is a lot of them. Mostly the EQ-P1. There are some plugin versions of the mid EQ too. The Pultec EQ came about in the 1950s. It's a passive inductor-based EQ with a tube makeup gain stage. So there's a lot of stuff in there. You have inductors, you have tubes, you have transformers. It's a big stew of stuff that really brings out mojo and character in an EQ. I can honestly say that I never tried the real hardware version of this before. I only used the plugin versions, and mostly I'm using the mid EQ. I think most people use the EQ-P1 that has the low boost and cut and the high boost and cut. But I tend to use the mid EQ most, especially for distorted guitars and distorted bass. What I think makes a piece of hardware really worth it is if it can speed up your workflow a little bit. So, for example, I always track vocals through hardware compressors because that saves a lot of time in mixing when I don't have to put a lot of compressor plugins on the vocals, and I know that I always put the mid EQ on my guitars and bass, so having the opportunity to track through the hardware right from the source, I think it's going to save me a lot of time. That obviously depends on how it sounds, so let's jump into it. So I'm tracking this with my Godset Instruments guitar. We're going into a Victory V40 amp with Grindstein pedal before it, going out through a Marshall 4x12 with the Celestion blackbacks, mic'd up with an Aspen Pitman Design AP1A FET, which is a new version of their classic tube mic, I think. Yuri Gelman is the guy behind making this happen again, him and his wife. And he told me it's supposed to be really good on guitar, so we're going to try it today. So it sounds good to begin with. Can have a look here at the EQ. We have 3 bands, 2 boost bands and 1 cut band, so we can boost between 200 and 1000 hertz, so 200, 300, 500, 700 and 1000 hertz, and we can boost at 1500, 2000, 3000, 4000 and 5000 hertz, and then we can cut a lot of frequencies. We have 2, 300, 5, 700, 1000, 1500, 2000, 3000, 4000, 5000 and up to 7000. So what I already know that I like is boosting around 1000 hertz and 1500, and then cutting somewhere between 2 and 500 depending on how the mids sound already. It makes for a really gnarly, nasty sound, and maybe not suitable for all styles, but I like it. But we're gonna experiment a little bit. You have that kind of nasally sound, and it's kind of usually what I like with the HM2 pedal. It's kind of the same kind of character. So what's really useful for, I mean, especially for distorted guitar that works a lot in the mid frequencies, is that you have like some really musical mid frequency standards here to play with. It's hard to make it sound bad. I would say like 3000 and 4000 hertz, maybe not really what you want to boost in the guitar, but 5000, it's pretty nice for some presence. 1500 and 2000 for that gnarly stuff that I like, and also combined with this one, you get a really cool frequency curve. So we're gonna try out what I usually like to bring out guitars to make them pop a little bit and make them more aggressive. If they feel a little dull and distant, this really brings them forward. This sounds pretty soft and pleasant and nice. This sounds more aggressive, gnarly, and aggressive. Yeah, as I said, aggressive. But I mean, you could also widen the curve a little bit. So instead of 1500, we can put this on 2000. So we have a boost at 1000 and 2000, so you get a little wider boost. And we also have this cut that I made here, around 300 hertz. Sometimes it's 300, sometimes it's 200. And for like the more classic modern tone, you can cut around 500 too, I guess. But I usually like to cut around 200 or 300 to give some space for the snare and sometimes the bass guitar. So yeah, let's try it in context. I will play a riff in a song here, and we'll listen to what guitar sounds with the EQ and without the EQ, and see which one I prefer and which one you prefer. You can let me know in the comments. Even if this is not like a full review of this EQ unit, this was more to confirm that I can use it the way I usually use the mid-EQ plugin, and it most definitely can. Yeah, this will stay in my guitar recording chain 100% for sure, just as much as the LA2A and 1176 is in my vocal chain. This is going to be in my guitar recording chain 100%. So once again, thank you so much to Warren, all the other guys at Produce Like a Pro for having me here. Thank you so much to Audioscape for making such amazing gear. And thank you guys for watching. And since I was pretty happy with the setup here with the EQ, and also I think it sounded good without the EQ too, so I thought I'll make an IR of the cab that I use now, make one with the EQ and one without the EQ, and you can try it out and see if it works with any of your amp sims or plugged in amps or however you record guitars. Just check the information in the description below and you'll find a way how to download those files. Bye bye. Cheers.